Welcome to Global Book Guild. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to achieve success consistently while others struggle even though they work just as hard? Many people chase motivation, productivity hacks, or quick success formulas. But the truth is, real success doesn't come from shortcuts. It comes from the habits we build every day. Today we're exploring the powerful ideas behind one of the most influential personal development books ever written, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. In this video, you'll discover simple but powerful habits that can change the way you think, work, and live. And before we begin, tell me in the comments, which country are you watching from? Also, if you enjoy learning powerful life lessons from books, make sure to subscribe to Global Book Guild so you never miss the next video that could transform your mindset. Now, let's begin. One of the most powerful shifts a person can make in life begins with a simple realization. We always have a choice in how we respond to what happens around us. This idea lies at the heart of the first powerful habit taught in this book. Many people move through life reacting automatically to situations. When something goes wrong, they blame circumstances, other people, the economy, their past, or even bad luck. It becomes easy to believe that life simply happens to them. But highly effective people think differently. They understand that while they cannot control everything that happens in the world, they can always control how they respond. Imagine a young professional named John. John works in a busy office where deadlines are tight and pressure is constant. One day, his manager criticizes a project he worked on for weeks. Many people in that situation would react emotionally. They might feel angry, embarrassed, or defensive. Some might complain to co-workers or blame the manager for being unfair. But John decides to pause before reacting. Instead of focusing on the criticism, he asks himself a better question: what can I learn from this? That small moment of awareness changes everything. Instead of wasting energy on frustration, John chooses to improve the project. He listens carefully to the feedback, adjusts his work, and presents a stronger version later. Over time, his manager begins to trust him more. His co-workers notice his calm attitude under pressure. Eventually, John becomes known as someone who solves problems instead of creating them. This is the power of taking responsibility for your responses. Highly effective people focus their energy on what they can control. They don't allow their emotions to be controlled by every situation around them. Instead of reacting impulsively, they pause, think, and choose their actions carefully. This mindset creates confidence and stability, even during difficult times. Think about how many situations in life trigger automatic reactions. Traffic jams, criticism, misunderstandings, unexpected problems. In those moments, it is easy to blame the situation or the people involved. But when you step back and recognize that your response is always your choice, you gain a new level of control over your life. This idea is sometimes described as the difference between reactive thinking and proactive thinking. Reactive people allow outside events to determine their mood and behavior. If someone speaks harshly to them, they immediately respond with anger. If something goes wrong, they give up or complain. Their emotions are constantly pushed around by the world. Proactive people operate differently. They pause, they reflect, they decide how they want to respond. Even in difficult circumstances, they focus on solutions instead of problems. Consider another example. Imagine 2 students who fail an important exam. The first student immediately blames the teacher, the exam questions, and the unfair grading system. He becomes discouraged and loses motivation to study. The second student looks at the same situation and thinks, maybe I need to study differently next time. He asks the teacher for advice, adjusts his study habits, and prepares more effectively for the next test. Both students faced the same challenge, but their responses created completely different outcomes. This habit reminds us that our lives are shaped less by what happens to us and more by how we respond to those events. When people begin to take responsibility for their actions, decisions, and attitudes, they gain the power to change their future. It doesn't require perfect circumstances. It doesn't require special talent or intelligence. It simply requires awareness and choice. When you stop blaming situations and start focusing on what you can do, you move from being a passenger in life to becoming the driver of your own journey. And that single shift can quietly transform everything. Many people believe that being busy means they are being productive. Their days are filled with meetings, messages, phone calls, deadlines, and endless to-do lists. From the outside, it looks like they are working extremely hard. But if you look closely, you may notice something surprising. Despite all that activity, they often feel exhausted, stressed, and strangely unfulfilled. The reason is simple. Being busy is not the same as focusing on what truly matters. Highly effective people understand that time is one of the most valuable resources we have. Unlike money, once time is spent, it can never be earned back. Every hour we use is a piece of our life that disappears forever. Because of this, the way we choose to spend our time quietly shapes the results we experience in the future. Imagine a young entrepreneur named Daniel. Daniel starts his day checking emails, replying to messages, attending meetings, and handling small tasks that appear urgent. By the end of the day, he feels exhausted. Yet when he reflects on his progress, he realizes he barely worked on the one thing that truly moves his business forward, building a better product. This is a trap many people fall into. Urgent tasks demand attention. They create pressure and make us feel like we must deal with them immediately. But the tasks that truly improve our lives are often not urgent. They are quiet, important actions that require focus and discipline. Think about activities like learning new skills, exercising, building meaningful relationships, planning your future, or working on long-term goals. These things rarely shout for your attention. They don't appear as emergencies. But over time, they are the actions that create the biggest difference in our lives. Highly effective people make a powerful shift in how they manage their time. Instead of letting urgency control their schedule, they prioritize importance. They ask themselves a simple question: what actions today will make the biggest difference in my future? Let's go back to Daniel. After realizing how much time he was losing to small distractions, he decides to change his routine. Each morning, before checking emails or messages, he spends 2 focused hours working on his most important project. During that time, he turns off notifications, ignores distractions, and gives his full attention to meaningful work. At first, the change feels uncomfortable. The urge to check his phone or respond to messages is strong. But after a few weeks, something remarkable happens. Daniel's most important project begins to grow. His work improves. His progress becomes visible. Meanwhile, the urgent tasks that once felt overwhelming start to lose their power. Many of them were never as important as they seemed. This lesson applies to almost every area of life. A student who spends more time mastering key subjects instead of constantly reacting to small assignments will learn more deeply. A professional who focuses on meaningful work rather than endless busy tasks will create greater results. A person who invests time in health, learning, and relationships will build a stronger life in the long run. The challenge is that urgent things often feel louder than important things. A ringing phone demands attention. A new email creates pressure. A message notification feels impossible to ignore. These distractions create the illusion of productivity. But effective people learn to protect their attention. They design their schedules around priorities rather than pressure. They make time for the activities that truly move their lives forward. Over months and years, this habit quietly transforms their future. While others remain trapped in constant busyness, they make steady progress toward meaningful goals. In the end, success is not determined by how full your schedule looks. It is determined by whether your time is spent on the things that truly matter. Many people grow up believing that life is a competition where someone must lose for someone else to win. In schools, students compete for grades. In sports, teams compete for victory. In business, companies compete for customers and profits. Over time, this way of thinking can quietly shape how people see every situation. They begin to believe that success is limited, and if someone else gains something, it means there is less available for them. This mindset often leads to conflict, jealousy, and unhealthy competition. People start protecting their own interests so strongly that they forget the possibility of cooperation. They begin to see life as a game of winners and losers. Highly effective people approach things differently. Instead of thinking in terms of win or lose, They try to create situations where everyone involved benefits. This mindset is often called the win-win way of thinking. It is based on the belief that success does not always need to come at someone else's expense. In many situations, cooperation and mutual respect can create better results for everyone. Imagine a simple example in the workplace. Two co-workers, Sarah and David, are both working on projects that require the same, limited resources. If they approach the situation with a win-lose mindset, each of them will try to secure the resources for themselves. They might argue, compete, or try to convince their manager that the other person's project is less important. Even if one of them wins, the working relationship between them becomes strained. But now imagine they approach the situation differently. Instead of competing, they sit down together and discuss their goals. Sarah explains what she needs to complete her project successfully. David shares his own priorities. Together they explore possible solutions. They adjust timelines, share resources, and find a plan that allows both projects to move forward. In the end, not only are their projects successful, but their working relationship becomes stronger. They build trust, respect, and a reputation for collaboration. The win-win mindset is powerful because it changes how people see opportunities. Instead of focusing on what they might lose, they look for creative solutions that allow everyone to gain something valuable. This approach also builds long-term success. When people feel respected and treated fairly, they are more willing to cooperate in the future. Relationships grow stronger, partnerships become more stable, and trust develops naturally. Think about how this applies to everyday life. In friendships, win-win thinking encourages understanding instead of selfishness. In families, it helps people resolve disagreements peacefully. In business, it creates partnerships where both sides benefit from working together. Consider a young entrepreneur named Mark who is negotiating a partnership with another company. If Mark focuses only on maximizing his own profit, he might push for terms that heavily favor his side. He may win the deal in the short term, but the other company may feel exploited or unhappy with the arrangement. Over time, that relationship may weaken or collapse. But if Mark focuses on creating a win-win outcome, he will look for an agreement that benefits both companies. He will ask questions, listen carefully, and search for solutions where both sides gain value. The result is a partnership built on trust, cooperation, and long-term growth. Of course, thinking win-win does not mean avoiding competition or ignoring your own needs. It simply means believing that success can be shared rather than taken. It requires confidence, fairness, and a willingness to listen to others. People who practice this habit understand that the strongest relationships are not built on dominance or control. They are built on mutual respect and shared success. Over time, this mindset changes the way people interact with the world. Instead of constantly defending their position, they begin creating opportunities for collaboration. And when people work together toward shared goals, the results are often far greater than anything one person could achieve alone. One of the most common problems in human communication is that people listen with the intention of replying rather than truly understanding. In everyday conversations, many individuals are already preparing their response while the other person is still speaking. They interrupt, give quick advice, or jump to conclusions without fully understanding the situation. This habit often creates misunderstandings, frustration, and weak relationships. Highly effective people practice a very different approach. They make a conscious effort to listen deeply before they speak. Instead of rushing to express their own opinions, they try to understand the thoughts, feelings, and perspectives of the other person first. Imagine a young manager named Lisa who leads a small team in a growing company. One day, a team member named Alex approaches her looking frustrated. Alex begins explaining that he feels overwhelmed with his workload and believes the project deadlines are unrealistic. Many managers might respond quickly with advice or criticism. Some might say you just need to manage your time better, or everyone else is handling their work just fine. But Lisa chooses a different path. She listens carefully without interrupting. She lets Alex fully explain his concerns. She asks calm, thoughtful questions to understand the situation more clearly. Instead of immediately offering solutions, she focuses on seeing the problem from Alex's perspective. As Alex continues speaking, something important happens. His frustration begins to fade. He feels heard and respected. Often when people feel truly understood, their emotions settle naturally. After listening carefully, Lisa shares her thoughts and suggestions. Because she took the time to understand the situation first, her response is thoughtful and helpful. Together, they adjust the project timeline slightly and reorganize the workload more effectively. What made the difference in this situation was not simply the solution, it was the act of listening. Listening is a powerful skill because it builds trust. When people feel that someone genuinely cares about their perspective, they become more open, cooperative, and respectful. Communication becomes smoother, and relationships become stronger. Think about how often conflicts grow simply because people feel misunderstood. In many arguments, both sides are trying to prove they are right rather than trying to understand each other. Voices get louder, emotions rise, and the conversation turns into a battle of opinions. But when someone pauses and chooses to listen first, the entire dynamic changes. Instead of two people defending their positions, the conversation becomes a search for understanding. Consider another everyday example. Imagine a friend comes to you feeling upset about a problem in their life. Many people immediately jump into problem-solving mode. They offer advice, share their own experiences, or suggest quick solutions. But sometimes the person doesn't need immediate solutions. Sometimes they simply need someone who will listen without judgment. When you listen carefully and show genuine interest in what someone is saying, you create a space where honest communication can happen. People feel comfortable expressing themselves, and that connection strengthens the relationship. Highly effective communicators understand that listening is not a passive act. It requires focus, patience, and empathy. It means paying attention not only to the words someone is speaking, but also to the emotions behind those words. This habit can transform personal relationships, workplaces, friendships, and even leadership. Leaders who listen well understand their teams better. Partners who listen carefully build stronger bonds. Friends who listen with empathy create deeper trust. Once a person truly understands another's perspective, sharing their own ideas becomes far more effective. Instead of sounding defensive or dismissive, their words carry understanding and respect. In the end, communication is not simply about speaking clearly. It is about building understanding between people. And that understanding almost always begins with the simple but powerful act of listening first. One of the most powerful ideas behind highly effective people is understanding the true value of working together. Many individuals believe success is something they must achieve alone. They try to handle every challenge themselves, thinking that asking for help might make them look weak or incapable. But in reality, the greatest achievements in history have rarely been the result of one person working in isolation. When people combine their different talents, perspectives, and experiences, they create a rich and diverse pool of skills and abilities. They can create results that are far greater than what any individual could accomplish alone. This is the essence of true collaboration. Imagine a small startup company with a team of 4 people. Each member has different strengths. One person is creative and excellent at generating new ideas. Another is skilled at organizing projects and managing deadlines. A third person understands technology deeply and can build complex systems. The fourth person has strong communication skills and knows how to connect with customers. If each person works separately without sharing ideas, their progress will remain limited. But when they collaborate, something interesting happens. The creative thinker proposes innovative ideas. The organizer turns those ideas into practical plans. The technical expert builds the system that brings the idea to life. The communicator connects the product with the audience. Together, their combined abilities produce results that none of them could achieve individually. This is the power of synergy, the idea that when people work together with respect and openness, the outcome becomes greater than the sum of their individual efforts. Highly effective people understand that differences between individuals are not obstacles. They are strengths. Different perspectives allow teams to see problems from multiple angles. One person may notice risks that others miss. Another may imagine creative solutions that others never considered. Instead of fearing differences, effective people learn to value them. Consider a real-life scenario in a workplace. A team is assigned to solve a difficult problem that has been slowing down the company's growth. The team members come from different departments, and each one approaches the issue from their own viewpoint. At first, their opinions may clash. One person believes the solution is technological, another thinks the problem lies in marketing strategy. A third believes the issue comes from poor communication between departments. If they argue endlessly about who is right, the problem remains unsolved. But if they listen to each other carefully and combine their insights, they begin to see a bigger picture. The real solution might include improvements in technology, marketing, and internal communication at the same time. Through collaboration, they collaborate, discover a solution that none of them would have found alone. This approach requires humility. It means accepting that our own perspective is not always complete. It requires patience, openness, and respect for the ideas of others. When people work with this mindset, teamwork becomes much more powerful. Instead of competing for recognition, they focus on solving problems together. Creativity increases, innovation grows, and trust develops naturally. This principle is not limited to workplaces or businesses. It applies to families, friendships, and communities as well. When people combine their strengths and support each other, challenges become easier to overcome. Think about how many major accomplishments in the world are the result of teamwork. Scientific discoveries, technological advancements, great companies, and meaningful social movements all emerged from groups of people working together toward a shared goal. Highly effective individuals understand that collaboration multiplies potential. Instead of trying to prove they can do everything themselves, they build strong relationships with others who bring different abilities to the table. When individuals learn to appreciate differences and combine their strengths, the possibilities become far greater than what any single person could imagine, and that is when true progress begins to happen. Imagine a man trying to cut down a tree with a saw. He has been working for hours. His arms are tired, sweat is running down his face, and the saw he is using has become dull. A person passing by notices how hard he is struggling and gives him a simple suggestion. Why don't you stop for a few minutes and sharpen your saw? It will make your work much easier. But the man quickly replies, I don't have time. I'm too busy cutting the tree. This small story teaches a powerful lesson about how many people live their lives. We often become so busy working, chasing goals, solving problems, and trying to succeed that we forget something extremely important. We forget to take care of ourselves. The idea behind this habit is very simple. If you want to stay effective in life, you must regularly renew your energy, your strength, and your mindset. Life is not a race where you run until you collapse. It is more like a long journey where your energy and focus must last for many years. Highly successful people understand this secret very well. They know that working harder is not always the answer. Sometimes the smartest thing you can do is pause, recharge, and improve yourself so that you can perform better later. Think about your body for a moment. Your body is the engine that powers everything you do in life. If you are constantly tired, unhealthy, or exhausted, it becomes very difficult to stay focused and productive. That is why many successful people make time for simple habits that protect their physical health. They exercise regularly, try to eat better food, get enough sleep, and take small breaks when their body needs rest. You don't need to run marathons or spend hours in the gym. Even small actions like walking, stretching, or resting properly can make a huge difference in your energy levels. When your body feels stronger, your mind naturally becomes clearer and more focused. But life is not only about physical energy. Your mind also needs regular renewal. Just like muscles grow stronger with exercise, the brain becomes sharper when it is challenged with new ideas and learning. People who stay effective for a long time are usually people who never stop learning. They read books, explore new knowledge, listen to inspiring ideas, and keep their curiosity alive. Learning something new every day keeps the mind active and creative. It helps you see problems differently and discover better solutions. Over time, this habit builds wisdom and confidence. Another important part of renewal is emotional and social strength. Human beings are not meant to live alone. Our relationships with family, friends, and colleagues play a huge role in our happiness and success. When we spend quality time with the people we care about, it refreshes our emotions and strengthens our support system. Talking, laughing, sharing experiences, and helping others build strong bonds that make life more meaningful. People who nurture their relationships often feel more motivated and emotionally balanced. Finally, there is a deeper form of renewal that relates to purpose and inner peace. Every person needs moments of reflection to think about their values, their goals, and the direction of their life. This might happen through meditation, prayer, quiet thinking, or simply spending time in nature. These quiet moments allow you to reconnect with what truly matters. They remind you why you are working so hard in the first place. When you regularly take time to renew yourself in these ways, something powerful happens. Your energy returns, your focus improves, and your motivation grows stronger. Instead of feeling burned out and exhausted, you feel prepared to face challenges with clarity and strength. This is the true meaning of sharpening the saw. It is not about stopping progress. It is about preparing yourself so that your future efforts become more effective and meaningful. And if you want to keep learning powerful life lessons like this, make sure you subscribe to Global Book Guild so you never miss the next video. More amazing ideas from the world's greatest books are coming your way. When you look at all these habits together, you start to see a powerful pattern. They are not just random pieces of advice. They form a complete way of thinking and living that can slowly transform a person's life. Many people spend years chasing success without ever stopping to question their approach. They react to problems, rush through their days, compete with others, and work endlessly without balance. At first, it may seem like they are moving fast, but over time they often feel stressed, confused, and stuck. The habits we have explored offer a different path. Instead of reacting to life, they teach you how to lead your life with intention. It begins with the simple decision to take responsibility. When you stop blaming circumstances and start focusing on what you can control, something changes inside you. You realize that your choices, your mindset, and your actions have far more power than you once believed. From there, you begin to think about your future with clarity. Instead of drifting through life without direction, you imagine the kind of person you want to become. You think about your values, your goals, and the legacy you want to leave behind. This vision becomes a compass that guides your daily decisions. Once that vision becomes clear, priorities start to make sense. You stop wasting time on things that don't truly matter. Your energy begins to flow toward meaningful goals instead of distractions. But life is not a journey you travel alone. Success becomes much more powerful when it is built on cooperation instead of competition. When people learn to think in terms of mutual benefit, relationships grow stronger and trust becomes the foundation of progress. Listening also becomes a powerful skill along the way. When you truly try to understand others before expecting them to understand you, communication improves. Conflicts begin to soften, people feel respected, and real solutions begin to appear. As teamwork develops, something even greater becomes possible. Different ideas, talents, and perspectives combine to create results that no individual could achieve alone. This is where creativity and innovation truly come to life. And finally, the journey continues through constant renewal. Just like a tool must be sharpened to stay useful, people must continue growing, learning, and taking care of themselves. This balance keeps your energy strong for the long run. The truth is, none of these habits require special talent or extraordinary intelligence. They simply require awareness, patience, and consistent effort. Anyone who is willing to practice them can gradually build a more effective life. Change does not happen overnight. It happens through small daily actions repeated over time. A better decision here, a moment of reflection there, a stronger habit built slowly day by day. Eventually, these small choices begin shaping a completely different future. Imagine what could happen if you started applying even one of these ideas today. Maybe you take more responsibility for your actions. Maybe you focus more clearly on your priorities. Maybe you start listening more carefully to the people around you. Small changes can lead to powerful transformations. And that is the real message behind these timeless lessons. Success is not a secret reserved for a few lucky people. It is a set of principles that anyone can learn, practice, and live by. If these ideas inspired you or gave you a new perspective, don't forget to subscribe to Global Book Guild and join a growing community of people who love discovering powerful lessons from the world's greatest books. Your next life-changing idea might be just one video away. This video explores powerful life lessons inspired by one of the most influential self-development books ever written. It explains 7 simple habits that can completely transform the way we think, work, and live. The journey begins with taking responsibility for our actions and learning to focus on what we can control. It then teaches us to create a clear vision for our future and prioritize what truly matters in life. The story also highlights the importance of building strong relationships through cooperation, understanding others deeply, and working together to achieve greater results. Finally, it reminds us that personal growth never stops, and we must continue learning, improving, and renewing ourselves. These habits show that real success is built through small daily choices that gradually shape a better life.